Hey nerds, we are talking about Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 1, Grounded. We're going to give our reviews of the episode and then get into a breakdown of the episode, starting now. Welcome to the Nerd Soul Show. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Condra.
Hey, so this episode was directed by Jason Zurek and written by Chris Kula. The spoiler-free logline is Mariner enlists her friends on a rogue mission to exonerate her mother as Captain Freeman faces a military tribunal for the destruction of the Pakled Planet. If you remember the end of Season 2, we had quite a bit of a cliffhanger with Captain Freeman being taken into custody by Starfleet Command. So, Condra, what did you think of this season premiere?
I enjoyed it. I wasn't sure where it was gonna go. So I was telling you a little bit before. I binged the first two seasons last week to get caught up because I'd never watched the show before. And so after seeing the growth and the change in relationship between Beckett and Captain Freeman, mother-daughter, was a shock to see Captain Freeman get hauled off to jail, essentially, or charged with what we know to be bogus charges. And I thought this was a fun episode. It was just funny because I forgot for a moment whose perspective the show is from, right? So they go through all of this, and then at the end, you realize they were just out of the loop on what was actually happening. But it was a fun, the show is, there's always some hijinks and fantastical riffing on the types of adventures Federation crews perhaps. I liked it. I think a good start this season.
Yeah, I liked it too. For the most part, I felt like some of the character development in this episode, for character development that we saw in the previous season, was backtracked on a little bit in this episode, so that was a little disappointing to me. And also, taking your point that the perspective of the show is supposed to be Lower Decks, I was also a little bit disappointed about the resolution at the end because we had an epic cliffhanger at the end of Season 2, and I was expecting something bigger. But as you said, the characters that we're focused on, they wouldn't be in the loop without giving anything else away. So I can accept. My disappointment is mostly about, my disappointment is, I guess, the showrunners trying to put you in the place of the Lower Deckers, where they're missing all kinds of things that are really important that you would have seen on the bridge of the Enterprise or Discovery.
Yeah, everything. Because you're invested, right? You're invested in this heist that they're trying to pull off, and then you just get yanked back into the reality of how temporal they really are.
Yeah.
It was shocking wonder.
Yeah, I think of course you're invested in the plot because it's the plot that you're following. But again, because it's Lower Decks, that's not the main story. That it's the side story. It's what they're making themselves busy with. I do appreciate all the Easter eggs in this episode, and then really we can get into that when we get into the breakdown because they pull back from all kinds of places. I put together a list when I watched this. I may have watched this a month ago now, but I had to watch it twice to try to catch everything, and I probably haven't caught everything. There are things on the screen that are only there for a couple seconds. They're the Easter eggs for different seasons of TNG and DS9 and stuff like that. So I did appreciate that, and Lower Decks has always been good with that stuff. So yeah. All right, so you want to jump into breaking down the episode a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
All right, before we get into spoilers, if you're enjoying the conversation, please like and subscribe. We will be reviewing these episodes for the next 10 weeks. We really appreciate it. And without further ado, spoilers ahead. What do you want to get into? Like I said, there's a lot of Easter eggs in this episode. Even up to the beginning, there was a news cast with lower thirds that there are all kinds of Easter eggs in that as well. I think we got mention of Captain Jellicoe in this episode. We got mention of
it was a lot.
Sonny Clemens. If you remember the Season 1 finale of TNG when they got those people from the 90s, that guy who was so that there was
and it was a housewife whose husband had frozen.
Right.
Stay at home. Yeah.
At the lower thirds at the beginning of the episode, it says that there was a teen riot at a Clemens concert or something like that. So I guess he got back to working.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, it was fine when you get to Boimler in the vineyard. I was like, oh, really? His family also makes wine, and you're like, it's raisin.
Yes.
Okay, that's a nice twist. And then the way the women working at the vineyard were just falling all over him, and he's completely oblivious. I'm you are the.
I don't know if he's oblivious, just not interested in raisin vineyard girls, which is weird. But what if
they were? I'm all can you take me to the privacy of the barn to teach the difference between these clearly very different, and it's just all over his head. Dude.
Yeah.
Because of course, I guess he's extra cool because he's this Starfleet ensign,
Right.
right? Like he's off in space all of the time.
I thought
So
that they were all over him because his family owns the vineyard, but I guess owning things doesn't really mean anything here. But
that's true.
so I don't know. Maybe it is the Starfleet thing. Yeah.
The country boy who left to go out to
Yeah, that definitely was interesting. Cold open. Also, Mariner bouncing off the walls in her father's office was also like I said, like the step backward thing, just like breaking screens, and it's like her father's screen just go off. You can just turn them off. If you're upset about the thing that's on the screen, just turn it off. It's like, yeah, she's interesting. The Declan Cochrane world was also pretty cool. I think later on in the episode, all the references to First Contact that they had there, which were pretty cool. I'm trying to think of the plot, such that it is like she ropes Boimler into her thing. I forget what Tendi and Rutherford what they were doing.
And they were eating at a
Oh yeah, they were, yes.
And then talking about all of the things they wanted to do or could do on a
Yeah, they were eating at Sisko's dad's place. Oh, and Boimler had some Ketracel white hot sauce. Yeah. 17 million.
He had exactly like one drop of hot thing, and then Mariner comes along and dumps half the bottle in, and he's dying, and she's it's just a little kick. But the Ketracel white, I was like, oh, that's a nice touch too.
Yeah, there's just too many. I know I have a long list here, and I'm not even sure that I'm going to get to everything on this list. But even if we got to everything on this list, I think we would miss things. I think also in that scroll at the beginning, that news feed, it said that a 6-year-old Zach Dawnn beat Strategema, that game that Data was playing. Yeah. It was a Zach Dawnn guy who he was playing against. So there's a callback to that episode. The Zolobian sisters is a thing that I actually. So there was a scroll that's saying that Captain Jellicoe, which again from the episode where Picard, Worf, and the Doctor went on like a secret mission and Jellicoe took over. Oh, you know what? Zolobian sisters are actually a reference to Lower Decks. They're referencing themselves here. So now they have 3 seasons. They're starting to reference themselves. I think the Zolobian sisters are the sisters who did like the choo-choo dance or something like that in season 1 or 2.
Oh,
yeah. So I guess that they got reassigned to the Jellicoe's ship. Yeah, they're doing some deep cuts here.
They really packed in there, which is impressive. Like I wonder like how I guess they must have like really extensive, or just like to be able to like stuff all this stuff. I guess for the real Trek, like not real Trekkies, but people who know, because I felt like there was something just everywhere.
I think you could watch this if you're like uninitiated, if you haven't watched a whole lot of Trek, but you would miss so much things. There's so many jokes. There's so many jokes that require you for the Ketracel white. That's like a very specific kind of joke that you would have to get that one. Even so, I think once they get together, they hatch a plan that's very similar to the episode when Sisko was on Earth, where the cadets went and like sabotaged the power grid, but they weren't able to get their crap together enough to actually do that. And also apparently there was like an environmental thing that was going on that was stopping the transporting, which always is a thing. You can't transport for some reason.
But why make it easy? Why make it easy?
Incandescent.
Go to mine to steal a spaceship.
Yeah, incandescent vertments, which come up later on in the episode as well when they actually steal the ship. But yeah, they were just in that. So like I'm not an old like transporter person, but I'm sure pretty much every transporter that has ever shown up in Star Trek was probably in that scene if you froze the frame for that, if you actually cared about it. So Bozeman, Montana, like you said, is where the First Contact, most of the movie took place if it wasn't on the ship. Yeah, they had so many references to that movie. The Crash and Burn bar, the one song that were playing over and over again.
But the whole just like the fact that there's a theme park, I guess it's nice to know in the future we'll still have reenactors.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do they have here? Morgan Best. Oh, yeah. You know what? I think so. They still I guess warp technology is so trivial now that you can put it in for a theme park ride, because you're putting a bunch of people at a theme park ride and having it auto warp like out to, I don't know, Mars and then back. That seems like, but I guess it's so.
I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like roller coasters are still 21st century.
Yeah. So they take control of the ship and they go over to the space dock and try to take over the ship. And I think at some point most of them come to their senses, right? And throughout the entire episode, they're like, we have to trust that people that Star Trek. We have to trust Starfleet. First, it's her father who says that. Then all of her friends say that, and they decided we're not going to take the ship. I forget what the specific catalyst is for we've gone too far was for them, but she gets them off.
Well, they got a ship just to get like Boimler's.
His logs.
And then they listen to his log, and they're peppered because the impression he gives, because he copies all of the officers'
right.
listens to them, but then it's like he copies them, but he also interjects all of the ridiculous stuff he does throughout.
It's like, I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of this. Yeah, but no one's going to take you seriously at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to look at this or think that you haven't doctored it in some way.
Yeah. It's.
But, and then Rutherford, like, correctly is like, they still have the date and timestamps, right? That should
enough.
be enough. Yeah. And they are about to leave, and then and I was like, can you really fly a starship
alone? Yeah, I think even like a skeleton crew, you need a few hundred people, or at least 20 or so, because you need someone down in the engine room. So I don't know what she was thinking.
She wasn't. She just really wasn't. Yeah, right? Because then she fights all her friends because they're like, no, you can't. Like, we have enough. We got to trust Starfleet. Yeah. Like, you can't steal this ship and go off and find the Klingons who set your mother up. Like, it was not a very well thought out plan.
It wasn't. So. And which is, like I said, it was a little disappointing because she seemed to be having so much growth. And then there was this major step back.
Yeah, but I think then, like, when she has that, like, you see her just, like, frantically trying to do stuff, and then she has that moment where she stops, right? And she's crying and she admits that she's afraid and she feels helpless because they handcuffed her mother and she couldn't do anything. And I was like, oh, like, that, I get that. They were just at a place where they were enjoying being around each other, and then everything gets disrupted. And she has not completely resolved the issues she has with trusting Starfleet and opening up the world. So I was like, okay. But I think in true, like, Beckett fashion, when she, like, very big feelings, like, steal a starship feelings, and then, like, when she breaks it down. So it's okay, like, she's, I guess her explosive behavior didn't last. I think I said, like, it didn't, at least this didn't sort of.
Yeah, I guess she could have spiraled even deeper into and not actually listen to anyone. Right. Yeah, although they did have to, like, get back on the ship and wrestle her.
They really did.
And Boimler's like, why are you so good at fighting? It was interesting. And then they're pulled over by Starfleet security, and they come up with this half-cocked story about helping the brooding rituals of the Vigman, and that's when then we get the captain, we get the reveal of actually what was actually happening. When we get the drops of all kinds of other Easter eggs, we got Morgan Bateson. I think I was talking to someone, maybe I was talking to a little while ago when we were talking about the time travel stuff at the end of Strange New Worlds. I think I mentioned Batesman. Remember, Batesman is the Kelsey Grammer character. Yeah. So he was apparently the one in charge of this mission. They actually even mentioned his ship, the USS Bozeman. So I guess they haven't, after they didn't decommission his ship, maybe they just refitted it rather, for the century that he's in. So he headed the mission to get the information. And I think they also mentioned Tuvok as well. Tuvok, he tracked down the Zach Dorn data broker to get the information, and apparently they destroyed their own planet to try to get relocated to another planet with more resources. Yeah.
It was also just like the way they come in and just share the story, like, very dramatic, and they're just like, wait, what? And then it did make me wonder if the Admiral Beckett's father, if he was aware, because he was just he was pretty calm. He's got to trust Stark, right? And even if Captain Freeman knew, like, this is all, there's stuff going on in the background that's going to resolve this, because Starfleet knows that I didn't do this nonsense. Yeah. But you got to make it look good to catch the villains.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure lots of people knew, but they're like interns. They're like the low. I guess you could be a cadet and be even lower, but there is no reason to have them in the loop, because they're not going to be on any of these missions. They're not going to be so at the most they're probably lieutenants or above who were clued into this mission. So he probably had this information and he was telling her to calm down, and that doesn't really work with her, because she has to fix it. She has to fix the thing. So yeah, it's interesting to see her progress over the next couple of episodes. Well, we have 8 from Paramount, so we've seen most of the season already. So not going to spoil it here, but it's interesting to see her progression, or her continued progression throughout the season. Yeah. Anything else? I think I tried to hit everything that I had on my list. Like I said, I'm going to miss things. If you're watching this and you caught something that I didn't catch, one of the things that I thought was really interesting was, like, that ship, seeing the Cochrane ship, like the first warp ship next to the Cerritos, just how small it was also very, like, the scale was very interesting. I think his ship was almost smaller than a shuttle, because it was basically just a rocket that he retrofitted from that movie. So yeah, the episode was fun. And the rest of the season is also fun. So I'm looking forward to talking through the rest of the episodes as well. Anything else?
No, I'm like, it's definitely worth a rewatch, because I'm like, I caught a lot of references, but now I'm like, okay, what else is in there that I didn't catch the first time around? But no, it's fun. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching the rest. And it's just always highly entertaining.
Yeah. I think the last thing I have here is that there was another reference to Fermat's last theorem. I think it's funny because when they mentioned it in the episode of TNG, it had not been solved, and then it got solved in the 90s. So what the tagline was in this, because it was another news reel that ended the episode, and it was something about the most original proof of Ferbo. So now they try to fix that old TNG episode where Picard was saying that no, there was no proof, but this one says it's a more original proof or whatever, or since the 90s, because it was proved in the 90s. So that was an interesting little addition there, trying to fix some of the continuity issues. Yeah. All right. So that is what we think, but we are interested to hear what you guys think. Did we miss anything? Comment down below, like and subscribe to get more content like this, and we will see you next time. All right, guys. Bye. Thanks.